But there's a larger issue that I want to talk about here that I think really plays into the downfall of America itself.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
It jumped up a notch.
It did, didn't it?
Everywhere I go, there's nowhere I belong. And anyone should tell me where will I find? 'Cause everywhere I go, I'm always on my own. Can anyone just catch me before I drown? Can anybody make me feel like I'm not the stranger tonight?
How's it going, everybody? Hope all y'all are having a decent day or night whenever you open this video up, because I gotta tell you, I'm having just a damn good time. And why is that? Well, we get to talk about one of my absolute favorite topics on this entire website, that of course being the fourth fucking time of mentioning quantum TV.
And I've decided that I want to die.
Because today we're in for a bit of a special treat, you could say. I forget what exactly led me down this rabbit hole, but I was going through all the different Justice for Act-Man videos going around. Started with my own, then I ended on someone else's, then somewhere down the line, I ended up here on this guy we're going to be talking about called The Gaming Politician, which, you know, solid username, really sets a tone for what we're going to be into with this. And he caught my attention with this title, obviously not the thumbnail, because let's just go ahead and address the elephants about this thumbnail. It's shit. It's lazy as shit. I mean, I know a lot of my thumbnails have recently been lazy as shit too, but at least they haven't been this bad. I mean, and just looking at the sizing and the fact that they're all the same color, to the uninitiated, this might read like a symptom of versus a larger problem. It's just like, what? And you could have easily avoided that just by doing a different color or different size of the text, you know? Am I being nitpicky? Absolutely, but that wasn't what caught my attention with this video. Instead, it was this title. And you know, I can somewhat agree, and he had me for the first bit when he started recounting everything, but you can see I didn't finish the video when I started this. That's because he said something that was like, what? And that was right around the time he said that quantum and people like him are gonna be the downfall of America. Because, you know, that's not totally overdramatic or anything. But once I heard that, I was like, you know what, dude? You got my attention now. So let's just go ahead and get into this because I'm interested in hearing what else he's got, and I'm sure you all are too. So anyway, let's let Jimbo roll the clip.
This is a video that I've wanted to make for an incredibly long time, but I've held off on simply because the thought of making it makes me incredibly nervous. But after what happened today, I feel that I need to speak about it because this shit is getting out of hand.
I, along with many others, would argue this shit got way out of hand a long fucking time ago. Like, for background, I remember when all the commentary channels started chiming in about Quantum, the copyright abuser, and shit like that, and I was like, yeah, sucks, but you know what? We go through this every so often. It's just another thing on YouTube, and oh well. I agree with everyone saying he's a piece of shit, and he absolutely is, but oh well, I'm not jumping in. And I almost did jump in around the time Quantum brought up pedophilia with Rich and all this shit. You know, that's the part that really pissed me off, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, this guy is a fucking lunatic. And then, of course, he took it even further later that month. So, yeah, I'd say this has gone way out of hand for way longer than this. But you know what? What else you got on this?
And I think unless we change, and I'll talk about who we is in a moment, like who we are, the enemy of America is going to win.
The enemy of America is gonna win if we, us on YouTube, don't do something. Okay, I'm curious where he's gonna go with this. Because like I said, I haven't even gotten to the end myself. So we're in for a good ride.
And the future is gonna end up not being bright for anybody, whether we realize it or not.
It's been like that for quite a while with war, pandemic, yada fucking yada. We are not set up for a good time on any level on YouTube. In the real world, ain't nothing good these days. So, thanks for joining the party. Better late than never, I guess.
But what the hell am I talking about? Today what happened was the Act-Man and Quantum TV drama came to a head, where if you guys need to be caught up on the Quantum... I'm not going to go over it in this video, but you need to be caught up on the Quantum TV drama, but I'll give you guys the super Cliff Notes version. Basically, he's and I'm putting up air quotes here, TV calibrator, who is incredibly narcissistic, incredibly bigoted, an extreme right-winger, a conspiracy theory promoter.
All the hallmarks of the usual virtue signaling we've seen with this whole controversy, bringing up the bigotry, and where his political leanings are first. You know, conveniently leaving out things like copyright abuse and slander, not to mention doxing and all this other bullshit. You know, that's all secondary. That's not as bad as him skirting around saying the N-word. Yeah, I'm gonna disagree on that front, but you know, I'm nitpicking at this point, so I'll let him continue.
And a copyright abuser.
Well, you got one of the most important things right at the very end, so you know what? Give you some brownie points, but you left out quite a bit. But I understand, because it's a hell of a lot with Quantum. I'm constantly forgetting all the bad shit. He's an iceberg with no end. We're at the 8th layer of him, and we're still going. Anyway.
And what happened was he filed a copyright takedown, a false copyright takedown against the Act Man, who is a larger YouTuber, because he made a video on Quantum TV and said some things that Quantum TV didn't like, and because Quantum TV is a little bitch, he falsely struck down the Actman's video.
He attempted to strike down Actman's video falsely. Didn't go through, thank fuck, and, you know, that really should have been Quantum's hint to back the fuck off.
And what happened was that Actman submitted evidence to YouTube of all of Quantum TV's bigoted, terrible, hateful takes, and that he's had in the past and still continues to have to this day. And, you know, YouTube came back to him and just said, yeah, no, I mean, like, we found him innocent. Basically what happened was Quantum TV deleted all the evidence from his Twitter, from his YouTube, just all the incriminating evidence, and because YouTube doesn't save deleted videos anymore, which is understandable, the server upkeep for something like that would be absolutely insane, so I don't blame them that when you delete a video it vanishes into the ether. I don't blame them one bit.
I don't blame them on that front either, but that's why we have services like the Wayback and other things, where they may not be directly owned by Google or YouTube, but they're still viable services that have helped courts of law determine internet bullshit on multiple occasions, and the fact that YouTube completely ignored it is pretty baffling. But yeah, a large part of that is because Quantum keeps deleting the evidence, and the biggest problem with that is everyone starts bragging about the evidence we find, and that gives him the clue to, oh shit, I better go cover this up, better hide it and make sure no one finds it. That's the interesting thing about Quantum. He's so deathly afraid of the day Susan finds out she's already dealt with him on several other occasions already, that he's constantly having to Google himself and go back and delete any comments he made on other videos years and years ago, just to hide all of his bullshit now that he's become such a big figure. And I understand a part of that is because we gotta spread the word on the latest bit that needs to be added to the mountain of evidence against Quantum. But at the same time, every time we do, it's instantly gonna be taken down by Quantum himself, or he's gonna try and twist it in some way, shape, or form. So really, the best option is to try and be private about it with YouTube themselves, report it that way. Has no guarantee of working, but it has more of a guarantee of it staying and being found by someone. So yeah, that's what I'd suggest going forward if there's any more to this controversy. I mean, people are declaring it's dead already, and that's kind of the thing that worries me right now, because, I mean, every time this drama is sort of mellowed out and such, it always goes to the next level. For example, with the copyright abuse in the very beginning of this, it started to mellow out once everyone had made their videos and they were like, yeah, Quantum's a piece of shit, he's gonna keep doubling down on this. Oh well, we're moving on, we're scrubbing our hands of this, he can keep bitching and moaning for all we care. Then people dug up the tweets, and that whole shitstorm for about a week or so at first before it became the big thing to talk about with Quantum. Then comes the pedophilia accusation after that mellowed out. And then everyone was pissed off. Everybody was wanting him gone for, you know, being a slanderous fucking asshole like that. But then that started to mellow out too. I mean, obviously there was still plenty of people bitching and moaning to him. There was still plenty of people making videos about him all throughout that. But then again, it kind of sort of mellowed out for the next week or so. Then Actman made his video. Then that whole thing started. It started to mellow out again. And then the mother got called. That's the thing. Every time this starts to mellow out or looks like it might be dying down, something has to happen. And that's kind of what scares me, because how much further can this go? I mean, people have already leaked Quantum raging in his Discord over fucking abortion and activists taken to the streets. And we know how he feels about activists in the streets. So yeah, it's a little concerning where he's gonna go from here. We all hope he goes straight to the ban pile, but who knows? And that's really the biggest reason why I keep looking into this, because who knows what's next.
But the undeniable evidence that was submitted to YouTube, they said, yeah, this, you know, there's no evidence on this guy's channel, so we can't really do anything about it. Actman made a follow-up video, and that got stricken down today. And that video Actually, no, it got stricken down yesterday. Excuse me. It got stricken down, and then his channel was demonetized today. And the main thing I can only assume is that because he continued to press the issue after the fact, after YouTube gave him a decision on Quantum TV, that they just saw it as bullying and took his videos down and stripped him away from the monetization, or the partnership program, excuse me.
Yeah, and we later found out it was Ackman withholding some information about it was the tweets that got him demonetized. And you know what? I was quick to jump to a video, quick to put some things in, give my own 2 cents without having much founding. I've done that a lot with this drama, so I'll take my L on that. I've already unlisted the worst video I did that in, so...
But there's a larger issue that I want to talk about here that I think really plays into the downfall of America itself.
Yep. And here's where we go. I'm in completely foreign territory here, just like all of y'all, so this should be interesting. We're gonna get spicy with politics now, boys, because apparently quantum is gonna lead to the downfall of America. You know, only took 400 years or so, and it's gonna be undone by a guy who can't even balance his audio properly. Well, it was nice knowing you while you lasted, America. Anyways, let's hear where he's going with this, because he's got my attention, and hopefully he's got yours too.
Now, I know that's a huge jump to go from just talking about some YouTube drama to the downfall of an entire nation, but I think that what happened here really speaks to the dichotomy between intellectual, intelligent, liberal thinkers and backwards-ass, conservative, diehard Republican Trumpers.
Trumpers. That's a new one. And yeah, it is interesting to see how you're going to connect a simple YouTube drama of someone abusing the copyright and how one guy that's skirting around breaking federal laws as well as YouTube's terms of service is somehow going to lead to the downfall of America as a whole. Like I said, you got my attention. Don't jerk me around from here on out, buddy.
So what the hell am I talking about? What do you see with Republicans nowadays? What do you see with them?
I see them constantly bringing up January 6th and other bullshit, or they're just laughing at Joe Biden stuttering like the two of us. Something. That's all I see with Republicans anymore. I don't really keep up with the news, and I never have, but from everything I see, that's about it. And the Democrats are no better since they can't stop bringing up January 6th. So what's this about? Where are you going with this?
They're always these narcissists.
Because that's not on the left whatsoever. Nope, not at all.
Who have the worst opinions ever.
Because, you know, the Democrats never have a bad opinion like that at all. None.
The most transphobic, the most racist opinions that you could possibly get.
Because that's exclusive to one side. Yeah.
And every time you call them out, it's always, look at me, I'm being oppressed, these guys, blah, 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 blah. They never admit fault to anything. And that's exactly what's happening with Quantum TV. Think about it. He pushes election disinformation. He pushed COVID misinformation. He did all these insane things. But because Republicans never admit fault, and if you understand how human psychology works, that emotional, stupid part of our brain interprets that as strength.
I can definitely see the connection there, and I guess he's going to try and deny that just by saying he's vegan, because vegans can't be Republican.
Think about that. When you never admit fault to anything, when you're always throwing out accusations, when you're always jumping to conclusions, doing things like that, those are obviously terrible traits to have, and those are things that I've been guilty of in the past. I'm not going to lie, but that's going to factor into things that I'm going to talk about in this video later on. But essentially, with everything that's happened over the last couple years in America, and the reason why the Republicans just keep fucking winning.
They won a whopping one time in the last... How long has it been? Yeah, their last win was in 2004. Not counting Senate and all this other bullshit. It's pretty evenly split on wins. And I'm curious how the Democrats are completely spotless in your eyes. I'm not saying the Republicans are completely innocent, not by one bit. I'm not going to defend them for anything. All I'm going to say is both sides are a couple of autistic lab monkeys.
Is because liberals have this one chink in their armor, this one horrible flaw, and not just liberals, but just people with common sense in general, is that lawful good cannot win against chaotic evil
So we've gone from talking about quantum TV to talking about politics to talking about fucking D&D allegiances. Like I said, this is going to be an interesting video.
Because chaotic evil plays by its own rules. Chaotic evil goes outside the rules. Like, here's a perfect example to talk about with this. Do you guys remember back when Obama was president? We were nearing the end of his presidency. He nominated Merrick Garland to the Supreme Court. And the Republicans said, "No, we're not going to hold a confirmation hearing because we don't want you to pick a candidate." And their defense was, "Oh, well, it's almost an election. We should let the American people decide." And then when Trump gets into office and he starts picking Supreme Court nominations, the Republicans are like, "Yeah, we're going to rush these through. We don't care if an election cycle is coming up. We don't care if the midterms are going to happen soon. We're just going to go ahead and do it."
Because partisan politics only give a shit about their side and making sure it's the only side that matters, which is something that the first president of the United States specifically told us not to let happen, along with two other things I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, we butt-fucked this country already, and we did it before he was even a rotten corpse. So
that's the problem right there, because if you guys remember, Michelle Obama was on stage or on social media talking about, they are going to take, they're going to go low, but we're going to go high. We're going to be the bigger people and be better than this.
Yeah, because it's all that politics is these days. Taking cheap shots and hoping nobody sniffs out your shit before you can finish saying it. It's all it has been for years now. Where are you going with this? This isn't anything new. And I don't see how this is going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back on this fucking country. Because our problems are way bigger than shitty politicians.
Well, here's the thing. President Obama, in the Constitution, it says that the president absolutely has the right to appoint a Supreme Court nomination if the Senate will not hold a hearing. But because Michelle Obama and a bunch of other Democrats who were like, no, you know what, we could, if the Republicans aren't in the Senate aren't going to hold a confirmation hearing, then yeah, all we need to do is just, we can just appoint them straight away.
Which is something that was going to happen regardless of if Michelle and them did anything or not. It's all politics is. One side will say we're going to do these laws, this, that, and this other. Then when their term is up, the next politician's job is just to completely undo it and say they're going to do something new. It's just an endless cycle. That's why I don't keep up with it anymore. Because I really just don't even give a shit at this point. We're all fucked.
Since they decided not to do that, guess what? Because of that, Roe v. Wade is now getting overturned.
And yeah, it's pretty fucking retarded what they've done with Roe v. Wade and abortion laws. I don't really want to dive into that right there because it's a very thorny issue and I know I'm going to piss off a lot of people just by saying I have a stance on it without having a vagina. But, oh well. That's just life at this point.
So, we got the moral high ground, but guess what? The Republicans got the Supreme Court. Now, the next point, and I'm going to tie this all together, so I know it sounds like I went off on a tangent there.
Because we have gone on quite the tangent. So, where does this connect to quantum TV and the whole YouTube drama?
But the next point I want to make is, so just from that, I want you guys to take lawful good does not win against chaotic evil. Just take that first point. Now let's go on to cancel culture, and this is the next point I want to make.
Oh boy, this is like the 5th or 6th tangent since we started going off from quantum and all this bullshit. Okay, where are we going, bub?
And like I said, I'm going to tie this all together. The thing is that with cancel culture, I'm not completely against it.
Somewhat hot take here, neither am I. Within reason, as long as the person being canceled is a legitimate danger to society, or to children, shit like that, If it's someone who has undeniable proof that they are a fucking danger to people, yeah, they do not deserve to be on a platform of any kind. But if it's over something superfluous like someone saying the N-word or someone saying fag 5 years ago, oh fucking well. That's where cancel culture loses me, when it's over something so frivolous, something so pointless. It's like, yeah, I get people don't like hearing those words, but that's just life. And if you really can't handle that on the internet, you can always log off. But yeah, I'm not entirely against cancel culture either, so... And I imagine you're about to say something similar to what I've just said. Prove me wrong.
I think Quantum TV deserves to be canceled. I think he's done a lot of horrible, bigoted, racist, offensive shit.
How am I not surprised that that's what you find he should be canceled over? Yeah, I think Quantum should be canceled more for, breaking the law and bullshit like that, more so than him calling someone a half-breed and saying that's the annoying part of a movie.
You had Selena Kyle, which is Lenny Kravitz's daughter, like a half-breed.
Sorry, that one was a half-breed.
But my perspectives, I guess.
He is a conspiracy theorist, he's a whack job, and there have been other people who have absolutely deserved to be canceled. You know, like, but so...
I love how he's not going to bring up any specific examples. Like, I can think of EDP, who else? EDP and Quantum are the only ones coming to mind right now because that's the shit I've talked about recently, so... But there's been some absolutely justified versions of cancel culture. It needs to be done by a case-by-case basis. Oh, Anomaly Inc., that's another one. I know he wasn't completely canceled or anything like that, but when the EFAP community was against him for the bullshit he did, jumping from, fuck you, I don't want to talk to, oh yeah, go tell this other person to go eat a bullet, just because I don't want to talk about Spider-Man with him. You know, he got what he deserved with that. Goddamn, now I'm going off on tangents of shit from over 18 months ago. Goddamn. Why can't we stay on track, bub? Anyways.
I get it. I'm not completely against it. But if you guys, going back to that original point of chaotic evil wins against lawful good, you guys notice that the Republican Party and people just like that in general, they tend to be more united simply because they're able to accept whatever differences they may have because they know that they're working towards a common goal. And that it's only liberals that tend to cancel their own.
Yes, that tends to happen quite a bit. Can definitely give some first-hand experience of them not wanting to smell their own shit, though on the very rare occasion I have seen liberals wanting to hide their own wrongdoings as well. My stepfather being a perfect example that I don't want to get into.
Think about that. Liberals will go after other liberals who make mistakes or have done mistakes in the past because they want to, you know, they're like, oh, we hold everyone accountable. We hold our own accountable, which is good. I wish everyone did that.
I agree, spot on. Be consistent. If you're going to be banning people over stupid shit, then ban each other over stupid shit. Otherwise, you're just wasting time and putting on a show for everyone. A show that no one wants to see.
I wish everyone would hold everyone in their own groups accountable.
Same, but that's asking for too much, apparently.
But what you have to realize is that the Republicans are going to support a child rapist and hide behind, well, we don't want abortion to become legal. They'll do that because they realize that it's going to work towards their larger goal. And that's what I'm saying. So how does this tie into the Act-Man situation that happened today?
Good question, because we're halfway through this video and you haven't figured out how it's all connected. I mean, I'm starting to see some of the lines you're putting down, but how about you spell it out, because we're going all over the place at this point. What's next? Are we going to connect Quantum TV to all the idiots that claim that NASA's a satanic organization and that we've never been to the moon? How much you want to bet Quantum's actually the fucking founder of those people? And yes, they sadly exist.
Act-Man used to say a bunch of offensive things. I don't know if he used to be a genuine bigot.
The answer is no. He was saying shit because it was funny. If you don't find it funny, that's fine, whatever. If you really don't like seeing the N-word or fag or all this other bullshit, then oh well. You're just gonna have to live with it, because that's just the thing about life. There's gonna be all kinds of people saying nasty shit, whether it's about race, sexual identity, religion, whatever. And guess what? You gotta live with it. The same way there are certain religions out there that have an absolute heart attack if a cow or a pig dies of anything other than natural causes. They gotta live with the fact that there are certain parts of the world that aren't gonna give up their bacon double cheeseburgers. Same way I've given up trying to fight against, random motherfuckers saying something I disagree with or saying something that I find offensive. It is what it is. I'm just here to have fun and be entertained. That's it. You start enjoying life a little bit more when you live like that, instead of worrying about all these little things. Goddamn, why did I go on this philosophical tangent? Motherfucker, get us back on track. No, Act-Man is not a bigot. The worst thing he ever said was done in a joking context. You can find that just by looking at the Wayback Machine, or hell, you ain't even gotta look at that, with all the Quantards and everyone constantly bringing up his old-ass tweets from 5 fucking years ago. That's the thing, you gotta go back that far to find some dirt on this man of him saying something like that. Really speaks to how squeaky clean he's been.
Or if he just liked offensive comedy like I do, but... here's the thing. If he was just making offensive jokes, then fine, whatever. I make offensive jokes. But if he was being genuinely bigoted and he learned from his mistakes and is a different person now, which he absolutely is...
Well, then there's your answer to your hypothetical, so why didn't you cut it out?
Then that's something that needs to be celebrated, that he's learned and he's changed. And what I'm thinking is that because his content was stricken down and that he was removed from the partnership program, I would not be surprised if a bunch of his old tweets resurfaced and YouTube was like, yeah, well, I mean...
It ain't even YouTube bringing them up. It's been... First it was the PlayStation fanboys mad over him daring to question their allegiance to a fucking plastic box. And then it's all the fucking Quantum simps And every time, it's just so fucking retarded seeing these same 5 or 10 tweets. Because they're not even that bad, and they're obviously in a joking context. If people are that up in arms over obvious jokes like that, then, oh well, I'd brush them off, because their opinion really don't matter if they can't see a fucking joke for what it is.
You know, like, they kind of have the 84 like the Predator Post. Like, yeah, they caught somebody trying to do horrible things, but they conducted the sting operation in a really professional way. They, you know, like, did it in a way where ET could not be legally charged with anything, and they've also done a lot of terrible stuff in the past, so they ended up banning both. And what I'm thinking is happening is that YouTube is like, yeah, well, we'll knock Quantum TV down in the algorithm.
Damn, dude, why you gotta get me all nostalgic for the good times back when I made that video? Made my best performing video to date. Those were good times back when Quantum was being suppressed in the algorithm, and nobody was being recommended as Quantum cringe. Why you gotta remind me of the good days like that? They've just gone by so fast. But yes, it's already happened, and I get where you're going, where they're thinking eventually he'll slip up and they'll be like, yeah, we can finally ban him because we got some evidence that's lasted long enough. But then at the same time they'll be like, oh, well, we gotta be consistent now, so Ackman, say your fucking goodbyes. Oh wait, you can't. Bullshit like that. I see where you're going with it, and I can see it happening to an extent, because YouTube really doesn't give a shit.
But we can't technically ban him because there's no evidence on his channel or on his Twitter anymore, because he doesn't fucking have an official public Twitter anymore. But because the Ackman has made edgy jokes in the past.
The past being 5 weeks ago. Yeah, not gonna defend Ackman over the tweets and how he wasn't clear and open about that being the thing that's getting his channel demonetized until, you know, they were setting up the interview with Philip DeFranco, and then they finally have YouTube come out first and reveal this little bit of information. Ackman fucked up there, and he fucked up even more with the whole Tommy C situation and that fake-ass J-Station clip, and from everything I've seen, he's trying to sweep that under the rug. The only justification he's given is that, well, I had COVID brain, so I wasn't thinking right, blah da fucking blah.
Yeah. John Bon Zombie, Ackman avoiding the question, why did I go after Tommy C? Well, because I was angry, and it was in the heat of the moment, and it was a mistake to do that. But I don't know if you're aware of this, Rich, but...
Yeah, what the hell happened with that? I don't know the whole situation, that's why...
I don't know if... I'd call it COVID brain, but yeah, I just had a lot of stuff going on.
I'm not going to defend Ackman on those things. He's definitely done some fucked up shit in this whole situation. And if he does end up getting punished alongside Quantum, or he gets the worst punishment, oh well, he made his own bed like that. He absolutely should have kept going, but what he really should have done, instead of making this a whole thing of YouTube and trying to get his channel terminated, all this and that, he should have taken it to court. Yes, we're in a fucking recession right now, and yes, it's not exactly cost effective to travel across the country to sue someone, but after the phone call to the mother and all this bullshit, he absolutely should have taken this to a court of law. I understand it would have been complicated, expensive, and taken some time, but all he would have to do is say one tweet about it, and then all of a sudden one of his fans would have a fucking GoFundMe set up for it. And people would be happy to donate. People have been donated to Sid Alpha and his whole case against Acer Thorn, and I just donated last week. I'm late to the party on that one, but once I saw that he needed a little bit more, I was like, you know what? Let me do this, because I don't want to see copyright abusers get away on this. And that's exactly what Ackman, Rich, everybody should have chipped in and gone towards with this whole thing, instead of making this about getting his YouTube gone, because if the fucker's in jail or he's fined into oblivion, he ain't gonna have time to do YouTube, and he ain't gonna have time to do it over stupid shit like TV reviews. That's the way Ackman should have gone with this whole situation, and he played himself by making this a personal matter between him and YouTube and all the bullshit in that.
We're just gonna fucking, we're gonna remove him from the partnership program. Think about that. That is insane that happens. And this ties into me because here's the thing, and this is the big thing I want to talk about here in regards to my future on this platform. I love offensive comedy.
Okay.
But if you guys have seen my Twitter and, well, before it got shut down.
Alright, you got my attention. Let me go and check out this Twitter of yours. Let me fucking find you real quick.
You guys know I support critical race theory. You guys know I support BLM. I want police reform.
Alright, guess I'm gonna start giving my own political bullshit opinions. Police reform ain't gonna do shit to make society better. As much as I agree that yes, the police do overstep their boundaries, we're too deep for reform. It's gotta be burnt right at the roots, same with everything else, before we see any type of meaningful change. There's absolutely shit cops, but there's good cops as well. Again, it's a very case-by-case basis thing.
I want gay rights to be, like I want LGBTQ rights in general. Like, I just want all of these things to be enshrined in our democracy because that's what makes a healthy society.
and society's been crumbling for fucking ever. There's no hope for it at this point. People have been calling it for years that with the way things are going, we're in all the signs that lead towards a fucking violent revolution whenever an example of these politically muddled times that we're in, economic unrest, social unrest, constant bullshit. We're setting ourselves up for the apocalypse, and I just don't give a shit anymore. It's gonna happen. The people in control think they have enough power over us to keep delaying the inevitable, and of course people do it. They play right into their hands just by getting into more of these stupid social media arguments that I wouldn't even say we're in right now. I'm just fucking responding to this because I was entertained, I was interested, and I thought maybe this would make some content. And who knows, maybe I won't even post this shit, I don't fucking know. But yeah, we're fucked. There's no other way around it. There's no use in even trying to defend it, trying to say the democracy has a chance of being fixed at this point. We're done. Goose is cooked. Time for something new. This shit ain't working no more, and it's not gonna work. I know I'm being very vague and not really going deep into what my stances are, but I honestly don't give a fuck. And let's be real here, you don't either. You come to this channel to be entertained by fucking Battlefront gameplay and homophobic puppies, not political commentary from someone who failed college. So...
But because Democrats, a lot of them want to go for virtue points, they'll just be like, oh, this guy said slurs in the past. Oh, we don't care what context he said it in. We don't care if he said it as a joke. We're just gonna go ahead and cancel him. And Republicans will call this behavior out with Democrats, but they won't call it out with their own because they know it's the Democrats' biggest weakness.
Or because most of them don't have the mental capacity to figure that out. I know I'm being condescending with that, but I don't give a shit. If you live by your politics but you don't apply any consistent standard, you're fucking retarded. Simple as that.
They use it against us to win. And what the scary thing about all this is that, look, I'm an entertainer. I love making people laugh. I get it that my sense of humor is not for everybody, but instead of doing the mature thing and just saying, hey, I'm not, this isn't my kind of comedy, so I'm just not going to watch it, I don't want to get kicked off of YouTube. And I don't want to be silenced. I don't want to be forced into saying things or believing things that I don't really believe or don't want to say.
If that's the case, and you can always just not give a shit, YouTube's gonna find a reason to ban you no matter what, unless you become one of the bread tubers that make them all kinds of money in some way, shape, or form, and even then, they can wipe their ass with you and not even give a shit. That's the thing. YouTube's making enough money to where they think they don't need creators making the content for them. They know plenty of people are gonna be watching their bullshit. If not, they have bots to do it. Then with everyone else on this site and no one really wanting to move out, so to speak, then enough money's gonna be generated back into their pockets that they don't need to give a shit. So that's the way with me and the internet. I don't give a shit when I'm gone. It's gonna happen eventually. I push my own boundaries and I don't give a shit. I know I'm saying that a lot, but I don't know how else to describe it other than I just genuinely don't care. If I find something funny and someone else doesn't, oh well, end of. That's the way people should be. I don't get why people keep coming to the internet in places like YouTube and Patreon thinking they can start their business and, get big off of being on their ass 24/7. No, people come to the internet to be entertained. They don't come to support a business. That's just the way I look at it though. So, yeah.
Now, on the flip side of that argument, I completely understand. I get it that a lot of people who have been through trauma, whether it's an African American person who's experienced racism, or a gay person who's experienced homophobia, or a woman who has experienced sexual assault, I get all of that. I get it that traumatic events can shape a person's worldview, make them distrustful, and I get it. I really do. And that kind of pain is horrendous. And I am white privileged, upper class, suburban teenage male.
Who the fuck cares?
I have had it as easy as anyone can possibly fucking have it. My parents give me an allowance of $100 every 2 weeks.
Weird flex, but okay. I make $600 in a fucking week span. Granted, I gotta work my ass off at a fucking factory for 12 hours, but that's life. So where are we going with bringing up your privilege and shit like that?
That is insane that we are wealthy enough to be able to do that. I'm going on a volunteering trip soon to a foreign country. I'm not going to name the organization or the place I'm going to, but I'm going in like a week to help volunteer in an impoverished nation. That is white privilege to the nth degree. But what I'm talking about here, my main point is that people, your intentions are noble and your intentions are good. I want to make that abundantly clear. I've met people from all different walks of life who enjoy different things. Like, I've met black people who think the hard R is the funniest joke, can be the funniest joke in the world, and I've met black people who absolutely despise that. And I think that what's happening now with this whole, if my conspiracy theory is true, and this is how I'm tying everything together, that if YouTube is going to ban the Act Man, or demonetize him, I should say, if they're going to demonetize him because they don't want, like, oh, well, he's had offensive jokes in the past, so we'll hold him accountable, but the guy who is still a bigot, you know, the guy who is still a bigot and is still gonna, who's probably gonna go back to falsely copyright striking people.
It ain't even just him. We've had Fortang and his Quantum Ma'am, and, you know, YouTube's just set the precedent that they're going to allow people to get away with abusing their DMCAs and allow people to remove videos for whatever reason they see fit. And they're not going to do anything about it until one of the assholes with a channel that they have $1 billion to pump into and can say, hey, YouTube, fix your shit. I don't like this. I don't see Bungie and Destiny doing that over their situation with that one guy that they found doing it to them. I don't see YouTube changing their policies because of that. It's going to have to be something more specifically a billionaire with a channel decides they don't like someone trying to falsely take down their videos over bullshit like this. They're going to put the boot on YouTube. And even then, I don't see anything changing then.
We're probably going to go back to being a hateful, bigoted asshole. Though, like, it's a way to play to that stupid, like, it's in a way corporations kind of do what Republicans do, where they appeal to that emotional part of our
because appealing to emotion is a good way of getting people to foolishly hand over money. End of. That's why Pride Month is a thing. It's not over gay people just coming out and being like, yes, we can finally have a month dedicated to ourselves that we can celebrate how good it is to be gay. No, it's a corporate bullshit for people to trick other people into buying shit they don't need just because it has a rainbow flag or a Black Lives Matter flag on it. That's all these political holidays are, is moral grandstanding for money. And good that you're finally catching on, but oh well, a little late for that one. And I don't see how this connects back to YouTube and Quantum.
Of our psyche, where they're like, oh, you know, people will say, oh, YouTube ban or YouTube demonetize person who say offensive things. Well, YouTube must be good then. They do good at enforcing policy. But if you were to dig deeper into that and you'd realize, holy shit, they let this homophobic, bigoted, conspiracy theorist, right-wing asshole,
false copyright abuser, slanderer. Is that even a word, slanderer? Fuck it. You know, all these things that are a little bit more important and a little more damning than someone skirting around saying slurs. You know, I love how that's always second to him saying stupid shit on the internet, because he's the only one to ever do that and he's so bad because of it. I don't know, I'm just a little exhausted with everybody focusing so much on YouTube siding with hate, so to say, or, you know, Quantum the homophobe, yada fucking yada. The issues go deeper than that, and I'm just a little tired of hearing the same old broken record, and people ignoring him breaking fucking law, just because that doesn't hurt their vaginas as much as him saying a 4-letter word does.
Get away despite the overwhelming evidence, and a guy who's still gonna be like this after the fact? And then they end up punishing another guy because he just said some offensive things in the past and learned from his mistakes and doesn't do it anymore?
Buddy, you're somehow a bigger channel than me, and you've been around way longer than I have, yet you're just now figuring out that corporations enforce their policies willy-nilly, and they don't have any consistency whatsoever? Really? You're really just now figuring that one out? Like, this is just the way the internet is. Ain't nobody gonna do anything about it, because there ain't nothing anyone can do. These corporations got billions backing them up on all their stupid shit. They don't need to be consistent. They don't need to be fair, because they don't even need you on their platform. That's just the cold, harsh reality of it.
It's like corporations are dictating the way we think in a lot of ways.
More so than just the way we think. I mean, we saw it with Russia as soon as the war broke out. How many people were relying on services like Google Pay and Apple Pay, all this shit like that. Their entire infrastructure went down within hours of Putin's invasion. And it's all because the corporations now have more power than governments almost. And they tax us about as much too, so yeah, this is the world we created. It's too late to change anything now.
The beautiful idea, and I'm not saying this sarcastically, I mean this, the beautiful idea of egalitarianism, equal thinking, is being turned into a soulless, hollow commodity that can be bought and sold, and it's reinforcing cancel culture, and we're canceling the wrong people, and we're letting the wrong people get away with terrible things. That's the ultimate point I want to talk about in this video, and what scares me so much, what scares me so fucking much is I don't want to get banned off of YouTube, and I want to make the jokes I want to make. I have never in my life ever disparaged another person because of their personally identifying factor.
Good on you for not being a piece of shit. Does that deserve a medal these days? I really don't think it does. I think that just deserves, you being good and moving on. And if you're really worried about YouTube eventually banning you and such like that, enjoy being a small channel like this and enjoy selling out your soul just to be in the algorithm a little bit. So that's what it takes. I'm not doing it. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want on this channel until I'm gone. When I am, I am. Ain't no two ways around it. So that's just the way the world is.
Why do you guys think that someone like iShowSpeed is so popular right now?
Never heard of this guy.
He has a majority black fan base, and he is the funniest motherfucker ever.
Tyler Perry's movies that are mostly watched by black people, yeah, guess what? They're fucking hilarious movies. I love them. What does that got to do with anything? How is this guy any way special like that?
Now here's the thing. I am not making the point that, oh, I have black friends, or oh, iShowSpeed supporters like that kind of comedy, so it must be okay to say terrible and racist things. That's not at all what I'm saying. Different people from different walks of life enjoy different things.
Well, no fucking shit.
Go watch my video titled 2 Xenoblade Chronicles Haters Get Owned.
Alright. Since you're giving demands, let me go see what this is all about.
A few inches later.
So I got about 4 minutes into that fucking video, and their bad audio was getting on my fucking nerves, and I decided, you know what, I don't really care about what they're talking about, so I don't get how it's supposed to be funny, so I don't really get the humor in this, so tell you what, I'll just link it so that my friends can watch it, because one of my friends does like the Xenoblade games, and, maybe they'll find some entertainment out of that. I can't stand another minute of their fucking audio, so let's just get back to this, because, goddamn, it's almost 6 in the morning.
Those 2 guys I feature in that video, Savoy and a black guy, those guys are the funniest motherfuckers I've ever met, and I am still really good friends with them after years of knowing them. We met, they are both African American. Well, actually, no, African Canadian. I keep forgetting they live in Canada, herp derp. But they're both black. And we met in a Mario Kart 8 lobby where they suggested, hey, let's turn this into a KKK Mario Kart server, and they convinced the whole lobby to turn into, to change to play as the white shy guy because he looks like a little Klansman. And it was a mixed race lobby too. There were people from all over the world in it, and everybody was joking around and having a fun time.
Sounds about as entertaining as the time I was accused of being in the KKK by 3 different guys who are all cool with it. And I guess I'll go into that story. So this was years and years ago, about, I want to say 3, maybe 4 years ago now. But back when I was working Red Lobster and slaving away there, I eventually got up to the cooking positions, and they were like, yeah, we're going to put you on with Tyler. That's not his real name, but I'm not saying their real names because I don't want them connecting all this to me. But anyway, Tyler, the mixed race guy, was like, we were talking about something about fucking what we like doing in the summertime, and I forget what all else I said, what all he said, but one of the last things I said was something about camping. And then our grillmaster, John, he comes over and he's like, oh, Big Country, and yes, that's where my fucking nickname came from, is Red Lobster. But anyway, they're like, Big Country, gonna take Tyler there camping? And before I can even answer, Tyler was like, hell no, he'd probably take me to a Klan meeting if I did.
Now comes the part where we throw our heads back and laugh. Ready? Ready!
All 3 of us started busting out laughing, yada fucking yada. And then a week later it gets brought up, I forget by who, it might have been me, might have been John, might have been one of the other 2 big buff black guys that were there. Someone brought up the KKK, and somehow that got connected to me. All 3 of them started dying of laughter, and I was like, guys, keep it the fuck down, we don't want the manager to hear. The manager opens the door to see them all fucking dying of laughter coming in on a Saturday morning, and me just hurrying to get into my fucking position and do my thing. And then one of the waitresses comes over later in the morning, they're like, hey, Big Country, you going to a Klan meeting later? I was just like, god damn it, they done said it. I'm gonna be fired. And then I wasn't. Surprisingly enough, the manager even got in on the joke too. So I was like, okay, you know what, this is just who I'm gonna be, so my official name didn't change or anything like that, but one of the new nicknames I earned was the Kentucky King Cobra. And this went on for about a month, maybe 3, and then it kind of died out. And then one of my other jobs that I went to, because John, he ended up leaving Red Lobster to go work at another restaurant, and I needed to get out of Red Lobster, so I went over to his restaurant. And I was there for a little while, and of course the KKK rumor came over there. We had a Mexican lady who was really pissed off over that fucking joke, and, well, she was pissed off at first, but then by the end of it, she was taking napkins, poking holes in them, and sticking them in my forehead, and constantly bringing it up whenever she got the chance. But then this is all about a month before George Floyd happened, and then after that I was like, yeah, you know what, time to retire this joke. So now that we've both gotten into pointless nothing stories of us pretending to be in the KKK, how about we get back to the topic at hand? I mean, I don't really give a shit at this point, because let's be real here, these pointless nothing stories are the bulk of the video, and they're probably going to be more entertaining than any of the bullshit we've been babbling about so far.
Look, my point is, we need to learn to respect other people's differences, and we need to learn to unite, even if we disagree on fundamentally different truths. And because if we do that, then the Democratic Party, liberals in general, intellectuals, we can start working together and put our differences aside, and we can finally make the world a better place and take down pieces of shit like Donald Trump, like Quantum TV, like Brett Kavanaugh, or Roy Moore, you know, like these awful, terrible people.
Clearly we can't, because we've had millions upon millions of people against all of them collectively, and yet they're all still doing their things, they're all still living it up, living rent-free in everyone's heads. So clearly banding together doesn't do shit unless you got a billion-dollar corporation backing you, and even then nothing's guaranteed because it's all a money game. So clearly us all coming together and being nice and shit like that, yeah, it's not gonna work. So, hate to stomp on your fairy tales, but at the same time, oh well, that's just life. I need to stop saying that. I keep saying that to just about every fucking sentence. Then again, people do come to my channel because I'm a bit of a broken record, so, guess I better embrace that part of me.
And this is something that absolutely needs to happen soon, because our society, like, you guys need to watch the movie Demolition Man. The Nostalgia Critic did a review of it.
So in other words, it's a decent movie made shitty by his review. So no, I'm not going to watch it.
And his point about that movie is spot on. It's a movie set in a dystopian future where society has split apart into two different extremes and nobody can get along. And those two extremes, one side is overly baby, pansy, fucking like the overly sensitive, no offensive things can ever be said, safe space freaks. And the other side are these fascist enabling anarchists who are these underground troglodytes who act terror against the people who want to live in the country on the surface, those safe space people. Watch Demolition Man.
No, thank you.
Absolutely watch that, because, yeah, it was a comedy when it came out, but it's a fucking documentary now.
So is Idiocracy, but doesn't mean we're all going to start fucking... who am I kidding with? TikTok now surpassing YouTube in terms of DNS search results. Our movies will just boil down to asses farting and fucking tin cans of sculptures, bullshit like that. We've been living in the world of Idiocracy for so long that it's just not even funny anymore. That's the movie I'd rather be watching than this fucking Demolition Man, because I'm pretty sure I've already seen it too, so I can't even remember it. That's how much it just doesn't stick with me.
Look, the bottom line I'm trying to get at with all of this is, I understand, like, to people, like, to minority groups around the world, whether you're gay, you're black, Asian, or bisexual, whatever the fuck you are, your experiences are not invalid in the slightest. And you guys, like, I get it that your heart is in the right place, but we need to change. My fellow liberals, progressive, egalitarian thinkers, we need to unite and band together so we can stop these things from happening. We need to stop corporations from reinforcing cancel culture. We need to stop letting people like Donald Trump get away with heinous shit. And we need to stop getting rid of good comedy.
Yeah, that's just the way it's gonna be going forward. Don't nobody want to work together anymore, and you just saying we got to, it ain't gonna get nobody to change. Maybe get one or two other people, but other than that, we all know we're fucked. Some people want to keep trying to fight it, try and fix things up. Perfect way to describe shit going on in this country on a political level, on YouTube and all these corporations. All the little men are getting a little tired of scooping water over the side, hoping that someone up top is going to be able to plug the hole. So the ship's going down, and I think we all just need to just let it happen. Let it burn down, start over, and hope someone's smart enough to not let it happen again.
Because all of this shit is going to take us to a future that's overly sanitized and overly distilled on our side. And the other side is going to keep storming the Capitol every time they lose an election. And that's a fucking scary thought to think about.
Not really when it's already here.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this video.
Yeah, no, this video is very fucking boring. I thought it was going to be a little bit more entertaining, but all we heard was, we gotta do better.
You've got to do better, Senator.
We gotta keep doing, we gotta fucking keep holding our hands and hoping eventually someone hears us. The quantum situation literally demonstrated that doing that doesn't even get us what we want, so why even bother? Because the problem is a little bit deeper than us not being united. The problem is much worse. And there's a hell of a lot of problems that I'm not educated enough to talk about, but really the best solution is just letting shit blow up in people's face and let them find out the hard way why they need to listen to you. It's a fucking situation my boss had to learn the hard way a couple months ago, I think 3 or 4. I was struggling to keep up with the demand for boxes we needed built up, so I did what I could, but then eventually the boss decides, you know what, we're gonna have you go to the other side of the factory and go do this other thing that doesn't need 2 people working on it, but we're gonna have you do that anyway. We're not gonna send anyone to replace you over here on boxes, so, and we're not gonna shut down this line or anything like that. I was like, okay boss, I'll let this blow up in your face because you can see I can barely keep up. And he never said a word to me. The people that were left on that line, they were complaining, when are you coming back? What are you gonna do? What's up with this? Why ain't nobody building boxes for us? I was like, take it up with the boss, man, and tell him you need someone, because he gave me orders and I'm following him. I'm getting my paycheck and I'm going home in a few minutes, so it ain't gonna be my problem. And that's really the best way to see some changes, to let something blow up in their face. That way they gotta be faced with a fuck up, and they gotta be like, okay, how do we prevent this fuck up from happening again? Okay, we gotta bitch and moan about them doing this, that, this other thing, and get them to do this, that, this other. I know I'm being very vague with this, but yeah, that's the moral of the story. If you really want to see change, you gotta let it blow up in the people in charge, and let them have a major fuck up on their hands. Then they're gonna change. They're gonna make some kind of change for everyone else. Because you bitching and moaning and trying to let them know, hey, we've got a problem, clearly that ain't doing shit no more.
Please like, share, favorite, subscribe. Have a good day, everybody.
Anyway, again, I thought that video was going to be a little bit more entertaining. This is just draining, thinking about politics and the state of the world again. So, I don't even know if I'm going to post this. Fuck it, I'll do it anyway. Anyway, yeah, this is not been a fun video, so I'll just cut it quits here, and I guess until the next one, I'll talk to y'all later.
Can't keep getting away with this!
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?